Honestly, it's like pure euphoria, pure bliss.
It's you and the board and nothing else, and it's just the environment flying by.
It's amazing watching those guys bomb the hills. You know you're going 40 miles per hour, you hit the ground, it's going to hurt.
Just love skateboarding. It's such a rush. To me, I'd almost describe it as better than a roller coaster, because you have the same feelings of like the wind and the air. The adrenaline's coursing through you. But unlike if you're in a car and you stick your head out the window or on a roller coaster, it's you controlling it. You're on the board. You know, a bike, you can kind of cheat and brake. On the longboard, you just gotta swerve and turn, or just be willing to tumble. Learn how to take hits is kind of the big thing.
That was fucking dope.
I mean, I've already fucked up my side once. I had to go to the hospital once for my arm. I mean, once you learn how to get off the board, it really lets you and allows you to kind of reach the full euphoria of just going down. To me, especially when I'm sending it down a large hill, there's just nothing I can compare to it. It's the biggest rush, it's the biggest high that I can feel. It's just, to me, pure bliss. I like to think I'm a laid-back guy, but it definitely brings out the angsty side of me when I'm skateboarding. I feel like a little Kurt Cobain out there when cars are around me. I'm sure the cars, when I'm sending them down Westman, are like, what the fuck is this kid doing? But on the other hand, a third of the time the cars pass and they're smiling at me and they're like, get it, kid.
Even as a kid, I think I had a skateboard. Now I'm pretty sure my dad uses it to roll heavy stuff around the garage. So I definitely knew what the sport actually was, but I never really got into it. I don't know. I've just been a runner all my life. And you know, with skateboarding there comes inherent injuries, so I think that's always been in the back of my mind, just, you know, looking out for what I really enjoy and what my life is committed to. But don't get me wrong, skateboarding is great, it's amazing. Especially longboarding, I definitely favor that over a trick board just because you're more mobile, which I enjoy. It tends to be more of like a stable ride, which I enjoy as well. Being comfortable on the board, especially with it under your feet, is the most important thing. I remember that there was times early on where I would be getting frustrated just because I couldn't even stand on the board and ride 10 feet without feeling wobbly and losing my balance and falling off. I think once I was able to, you know, find that comfortability in the sport, it really took off from there, and now I enjoy it a lot. It's fun. There's definitely a rush that you get.
Pocket beer.
I think I like the trick boards a little bit more than the longboard. I mean, of course, longboarding is fun to cruise. It's a different kind of effort, but it's still, I think, effort regardless. But what really drives me to that is I'm a very competitive person. If I start to do something, I really like to be able to do it and finish it. So what's cool about skateboarding is you have to put in so much effort into doing the trick, and it is frustrating being so infinitely close every time, like just getting everything except the landing or getting one foot on. Oh. But I just like that process of grinding until you get it right. It's so fun.
When the city put the skate park in down the street, it definitely added some color to the neighborhood just because it got people out. For the actual skateboarders using the park, I think it's nice because there's not that many skateboarding parks that I can think of in Kalamazoo. So I think it's a great asset that the Vine neighborhood has picked up, and with it having the playground next to it for kids to come, it's like everybody of all walks of life can come and have a good time at the park.
that skate park is just so good, just because it is beginner friendly, but it's not just small jumps and ramps. I mean, it's well crafted, very smooth concrete, and people are so willing to help you out and teach you little pointers. When you hit a trick, no matter what, even if it's an easy ollie, people will cheer for you and let you know, give you some props, so that's always really cool. So an ollie is like the most basic trick in skateboarding. So you're gonna have one foot on the tail of a board and then one foot kind of in the middle. And it's kind of a fluid motion where you're pushing your back foot down and at the same time you're sliding your front foot up along the board. There we go. Hitting the back down will actually pop the board off the ground, but if you don't control it with your front foot, it'll topple over backwards. So you're catching it and you're bringing it into the air and kind of leveling out all in one motion. My favorite trick that I can do has got to be a moving ollie. Ooh, that's pretty good. It feels so good when you can clear obstacles and just even get over little cracks in the street and ride smoothly onwards.
I would say the one thing I've really kind of picked up is that I love the culture of skateboarding. I think a lot of people assume because it's kind of this anti-norm or kind of counterculture aspect to it, and a lot of times people associate skaters with kind of that angst. But when you're actually talking to like the other people, they're so nice and so friendly. They appreciate that you recognize the passion as well, and they can tell. One thing that always kind of scared me was I don't want to be the shitty kid at the skate park. But one thing you don't realize is that all these people who are talented at skating and you watch them and you're intimidated, they had to go through all the falls, they had to go through all the, hurt elbows, casts, bones, whatever it was. I mean, they've put in their dues, so they appreciate the struggle that you're going through. You realize they're cheering for you. When you watch a person do a run, you want to see them hit it. Nobody wants to watch you fail. And when you do fail, people want to make sure you're all right. People want to make sure that you get back up there. That's something I would say is probably most misunderstood, is that a lot of people just assume one thing about the skating culture, but really it's a lot more welcoming and accepting once you're actually in it. Shout out Vans, shout out Thrasher. I got my Emericas on. That probably won't make the cut. I got my Emericas on. Shit, 20 bucks on Amazon. Shout out Jeff Bezos, you control our world too much. You got those deals. Shout out Arbor board companies. But don't put any of that in, because we don't, skate culture, we don't brand.